Welcome to the next edition of Missing the Point. I am Hollywood Ray Sean Buchanan with my guy, the real BK Bob Kelly. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, man. It's time again. It's
Yeah,
time. I'm pumped, bro. I'm pumped. I'm
yeah.
ready.
Right. So for those that have been listening from the beginning, we say thank you. Around this time last year is when we really started to take off because y'all really was rocking with our Celtics content. So, we like I said, like Bobby said, it's that time again. It's that time of the year. It's showtime. I am excited. I'll be there in the building once again for game one. So if you
I
haven't,
love how you got a job specifically so you could just be in the building every night.
yeah,
I know that's not like the exact reason, but like, bro,
yeah,
come on.
no, yeah. I
That's
mean,
part of
listen,
the reason. It's fucking dope. You're like, you
for
know what?
sure, for sure.
I just wanna feel that atmosphere every goddamn night. So let me just get a job there, and then
Right.
that'll take care of that. It's
And that's
been great for us too, but
right, right. No, for sure. Listen, a quick aside to that, I gotta thank this guy, Justin Coleman. Like, Justin, you have set me up and set this show up for success because you approached me and said, "Hey, do you need another job?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Who
yeah,
could have used
shout
more
out, bro.
money?"
For
And
sure.
then so shout out to you, Justin. You made an appearance on the show finally. Uh, so yeah, we appreciate you, man. So yeah, let's get right into it. So yeah, we're talking all things Celtics. They are facing the Atlanta Hawks, who are the seventh seed after defeating the Miami Heat 116 to 105 on Tuesday night. So just what are your thoughts on this team? Because obviously they've been up and down. I think their record was 41 and 41. So just what are your thoughts on them? And were you happy that it was Atlanta that we're facing instead of Miami?
Um, I would have been until I watched Miami play, and that's not a good basketball team right now, bro. They can't score. They don't play defense. So I mean, Miami's doing a whole lot of nothing so far this year. Like I said to Craig, if Jimmy Butler's not scoring 30 to 40 points, Miami's not winning. You know what I mean? Like that's where that team's at right now. The Hawks, though, man, they're such an up and down team that, like, you don't know what squad is gonna show up night to night, so you I mean, I feel like a couple of these games are gonna be close, um, but they just don't have what the Celtics have, and that, um, the experience, first of all. I know they made one Eastern Conference Finals trip, but, that was a couple of years ago. It was kind of a fluke, it seems like, and just, just the talent level is just a different level, I feel like, I mean, yeah, they have Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, John Collins, Saddiq Bey off the bench, which I forgot about until the other night. But
Mm,
I just feel like in every aspect we match up better than them. Maybe they have a little bit of an advantage in the guard play, maybe with
mm.
DeJounte over Marcus Smart. I feel like that's kind of a toss up. They're both definitely in like the top 10 to 15. But I just feel like we're gonna run on them and they can't stop us. Is really what the moral of the story is gonna be of this entire series. Is they're not gonna be able to stop us. So I mean, I hope it's not just a bunch of shootouts because I kind of want to see the Celtics play some goddamn defense. But I feel like there is going to be a few of those games. It's like 130 to 120, 140 to 130. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be a few shootouts in this series for sure.
Yeah, I mean, listen, honestly, do I want defense? Sure, but would I be upset with a 121 to 115?
No,
That's
I'm cool with it, bro.
yeah, at the end of the day, like I just want, score more points than the other team. That's where I'm at, right? So, like I said, for those that's listening, like I said, we're gonna get to the Celtics last. 'Cause obviously we're gonna have more things to kind of get into, but then we want to just set the table, and just kind of talk about what Atlanta either brings to the table or things they need to work on,
Mhm.
for the series. So just, they're not the 3-point shooting team that I think people think they are. I think a few years ago they were
Even
more.
Trey, even Trey doesn't shoot as many threes as he used to, man. And it's different. I don't know. It's definitely a different game than they used to play. You're right.
Yeah, no, he's like I said, he's elite with drawing fouls. He's elite with his playmaking skills. So just from the few games that you've seen from him, because obviously we were watching them closely every night. But we watch enough to know what they do well and don't do well. So just what do you think going into the series, that they do well that gives you some reason to be concerned?
Um, they can score. That's really it. You know what I mean? That on any given night, they can put up 130 points, no doubt about it. I mean, you saw it against Atlanta, against Miami, where they took off in that third quarter. Miami tried making run after run, and Atlanta wouldn't let it happen. So I mean, if Trae Young gets hot and DeJounte Murray gets hot, you know what I mean? Those are 2 elite guard scorers in the NBA. So on any given night, they can beat you. Those 2 alone. John Collins is solid. He's the best size in the NBA, by the way. I noticed that the other night. That dude wears those 1970s shorts, bro.
You know,
He's about to fall out of those. You're like, bro, don't do the two-hander. Don't throw that down. Come on. You don't need to see that.
Embiid found out a few years ago.
Bro, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, "Ooh,
I
that's
mean,
tough."
and DeAndre Hunter's pretty good too. So I mean, they definitely have a squad. I just feel like what they don't do is respond well to adversity.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of games. I've seen a few Atlanta games this year. I've league pass, so whenever I actually get a second from the chaos that is having 2 children under 2,
mhm,
I've watched a hot game or 2, and if you punch them in the mouth, they don't respond. Especially, it seems like especially Trae Young. I feel like he's kind of soft and he's kind of weak. Um, he's a great ball player. Don't get me
mhm.
wrong, but I don't think he's a one. I think that's established at this point. Because when you look at Atlanta, what stands out to me is like you've seen them, like you said, they've morphed identities like 2 or 3 times since they've had Trae Young. They were that 3-point shooting team when when they made that finals run. Um, and now they've kind of morphed into like a run and gun type team, I guess, where Trey's kind of the point guard. He gets like what does he average 9, 10 assists a night? So
Just about.
it's definitely a different squad. I just don't know if Trey's the guy that is going to be able to lead you to a 7-game series against elite talent like the Celtics have, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the hope. I think, it's weird, right? Because obviously, him and Luka are forever linked because they were in the same draft and
Bro, that was a
um,
fleece. I don't there that was not an even trade.
yeah, people say that, but it's just like, once again, regardless of the seeding, not Luka, Trae's going to the playoffs and Luka's chilling at the crib.
I mean, that's not right. That's
You
not
know,
right.
yeah, so it's not, so that's part of it. But
It's
I
true.
think, John, we talked about his style, but let's talk about his play. John Collins is someone to me who needs to change his scenery eventually.
Yeah.
Uh, you
Yeah, he
know,
needs to get out of there.
yeah, I'm hoping he doesn't grow up this series because if he does, then it's gonna be a little more interesting than it should be. Um, and I want people to hear this clearly because people are gonna say, "Oh, don't bring him up." So Trae Young and John Collins should be a modern day Stockton and Malone. And once again, on the court, I'm not talking about anything that happened off the court, what they believe in, what they've done. That's on the court. They should be Stockton and Malone. They should be just like when we saw a couple years ago against Philadelphia. They would pick and roll you to death with those 2, and you're not jumping with John Collins. I mean, luckily, we have a Time Lord that could jump with John Collins, but most times you're not
Yeah.
jumping with John
Yeah.
Collins, and
Well,
you're gonna end up on a poster.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's weird that they don't run that action a whole lot. Um,
Who's the coach down there now? They changed coaches
it's,
midseason, didn't they?
Quin Snyder now, so,
Quin Snyder, right, yeah, yeah,
Nate McMillan had been down there. Obviously, early in Trey's career, it was Lloyd Pierce, and then, like I said, I think Nate McMillan had took over. So they've had a lot of changing
That's
faces.
I
Um,
mean, that's what
but
I mean, bro. They've changed the identity of that squad a few
yeah,
times because of Trae. And listen, I loved Trae at Oklahoma. I'm a big March Madness guy, so I loved Trae at Oklahoma. I picked him to go to the finals that year, the Final Four. Like I wanted him in Boston, bro. I love Trae. I don't think he could. You can't build a squad around him to make a deep NBA Finals run. I just don't. I don't see it. I just don't. You know what I mean? The defense isn't there. That's what it when it comes down to it, man. You got to be able to stop one of the best players in the NBA.
yeah,
If you're going to win an NBA championship, you don't even have to, you have to have the ability to make them think twice, to make them have to give that little extra effort. So when it gets to that fucking game 7, like the Celtics did to Giannis, he's cooked.
yeah,
You know what I mean? We
yeah,
didn't stop him once that entire series, but
right.
we did enough to him. You know what I mean? So I just don't. The Hawks to me just don't have that.
Well, to be fair, I mean, we all know who Trae Young's comp has been since he's been in the league, and it's that guy in Golden State, Steph Curry. Steph Curry's never known to be a, uh, you know, a
Trae
stop.
can't shoot like Steph
No, no,
can,
no,
though.
but no, no. I'm saying I'm saying just from the defensive side, right? Like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
you have to surround, like they surrounded Steph Curry with
Right,
Clay. Clay was a really good on ball defender
right.
before he got hurt. Draymond,
Wiggins.
Wiggins now. So
Yeah.
they've been able to hide the flaws on defense because of what's around them. But they had those pieces in Atlanta because the guy that was, I don't know if you saw the GM there now, I forget his name, but the GM that was there in Golden State came over to Atlanta and he drafted Kevin Huerter I think the year after, because he wanted Huerter and Young to be a version of what Steph and Clay were, and it just never came together. But I told people about Kevin Huerter. I said this guy eventually
Bro, Herder's
figure it out,
solid,
and
man.
he's been very good at Sacramento. He's been killing it. Kudos to them for making their run. Like I said, we'll talk
So
another
it's
time.
a
Yeah.
it's funny you bring Herder up because I was listening to something that like this week about them, and it feels like they would have been better off. I love DeJounte Murray, right? I think he's awesome. They would have been better off just keeping Herder at this point because the price that they paid for DeJounte, in my opinion, I don't think the team is affected and is as how can I word this? Is as good
It should have been.
as right, exactly. They're not as I can't word this right. They're not
No, no,
better than they were
they
last
did.
year. You know what I mean? They're not that
Correct,
much
correct.
better than they were last year.
Or even the year before,
And
but
you gave away what 3 first round picks for DeJounte and you
and I mean,
traded
and Gallinari. I mean,
and right.
yeah. I mean,
But
how
then you
that?
also trade Herder for what? I think they got a first round pick for
uh,
him? A second
yeah,
round pick?
yeah. Was it Bogdan? No, Bogdanovich was already there. I'm not. I'm
I
not
think it
sure.
was
I
just a
think
pick, man.
he might have been the deal, but yeah, and I understand that, especially with the season that Kevin Huerter's had in Sacramento. Like you would like to see what he would have done with another year, next to Trae Young on the on and they're starting.
They got Justin Holiday, Harkless, and a protected first.
Okay, so a fringe rotation piece and two other people that not really, gonna really make the rotation. Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, I guess that lets you know what they kind of thought of where he was at, or not really looking to give him an extension. Because I think Sacramento paid him right after he signed over there, so maybe that was their favor to him. But
I think they were
yeah,
looking more to the future, like, we got a pair because DeJounte's elite defense, right? That's
I mean, yeah,
or supposedly, quote, unquote,
yeah,
he's
no,
supposed
no,
to be
he is an elite defender.
elite guard defender,
You
right?
can't play in San Antonio if you're not an elite defender, regardless of what their record is like. If you don't
So,
defense, you can't be on that team.
I'm
So,
thinking that's probably what their mind we're gonna pair Trae with this defensive stopper
right,
guard and be able to take that other guard out and let Trae
right.
just chill. You know what I mean? And it's just
Exactly. And so that's what's happened. Once again, DeAndre Hunter, another guy, came out of
I like
UVA.
Hunter. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, exactly. But he's another guy that's kind of been he's been up and down as well. So once again, we talked about we'll get into what we want to expose with them in the series, but you know, Hunter and Collins are two guys that, once again, I'm hoping they don't grow up in this series because if they do, it's gonna make the series a lot more interesting. Once again, Hunter was a top 10 pick. Collins, I think, he was he was in the same draft as Tatum, I believe.
Yeah,
Um,
Collins has been
he's been around. He's been around.
a solid dude for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah,
I've never heard someone mention more trade rumors in my life than him and Miles Turner.
right, right.
Those 2 together,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, so I just feel like, yeah, but to me, well, speaking of them, like they both in the chance here, like we mentioned. To me, it's just a matter of time before it happens. So yeah, like I said, we talked a little bit about what they do well, as far as how they move the ball, how they can score, but just what do you want to see get exposed on the Hawks team? So it's like, what do you think the Celtics can do to expose them in the first round series? I think if we take our time against this defense, we can we can pick them apart, and next thing they're talking to each other in the huddle. Maybe we have a Rudy Gobert, Kyle Anderson type situation when someone gets knocked out on the bench.
You can actually, I wanna that's a good I wanna talk about that real quick too. So that whole thing, bro. It's so funny because that's literally now the worst trade in the history of the NBA, right? That's gotta be. It's the worst, and it's so funny because he's such a defensive stopper, but the reason that all happened is because he fucking got his ass kicked on defense, like, it's the whole thing is just ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Um,
Yeah, insane.
but yeah, so we're good. So the thing that we have to expose, exactly what you just said, bro, the defense. It's a glaring weakness of this team. I'm trying to pull up where they are in the rankings right now, but I know it's
Yeah,
bottom
definitely,
third of the
yeah,
NBA.
yeah, yeah, definitely bottom half.
Yeah.
Which is why I think they went after Quin Snyder. I think Quin Snyder, um, had very good defenses in Utah. Once again, Gobert, ironically, was the anchor, for those defenses. Capella is not Gobert. He's not. He rebounds well, but he's not.
That's it. That's all he
Gobert.
does.
Yeah, it's all he does is rebound. So, um, I just wonder who they end up going at. For me, I'd go at John Collins a lot. I'd put him in a lot of actions. Um, I think that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum should be running pick and rolls nonstop.
Nonstop. Non-fucking stop. 100%.
Or and then you let them make the decision. So whether it's, Al in the corner, Rob for the dunk underneath, Brogdon or Hauser, whoever's in the corner, like just space out, have someone underneath to get the rebound if possible. And I think also it's gonna be a very long night. And yes, is it tedious? It's gonna be boring at times, absolutely. But it is not a time or a place to be bored with the process. Go at them continuously until they make an adjustment. And if
I
they don't make an adjustment, which I mean, once again, Chris is a very good coach, so he could, but I also think that he also came too late in the season to really put his stamp on what this team can be and will be going into the next season. So yeah, I'd like to say go at Collins, go at Trae, obviously because of his size. Um, he's gonna have to be on. Maybe they put him on Rob. I'm throwing lobs to Rob all day. Once again, they're
yeah.
not gonna
Yep.
call
Yep.
on Trae every time because he's a star, but you might get two on him right away, and then he has to sit. So, it's worth it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the Celtics guards have to attract I whoever Trey is on, that guard has to attack, whether it be Brogdon, whether it be Smart. That's the key right there, because, like we said, DeJounte's an elite defender, so he's gonna take one of your guards out of the game, so you gotta figure out how to get one of those other guys going, because we know what Tatum and Brown are gonna do. You know what I mean? We know what they're gonna do, but to take this series in, stifling fashion like we expect them to,
Mhm.
someone else has to do something. One of those guards has to go off, whether it be Brogdon, Smart, um, who am I missing right there?
Derek White.
Derek White, thank you. Whether it be or Derek White. And then also you gotta get something out of those bigs too. I mean, whether it be Horford or whether it be Grant, one of those 2 guys has to show up and give you something, because if not, like you said, John Collins is gonna be able to he's gonna dominate you on offense down low, because that's been the Celtics backbreaker, is when one of those guys doesn't show up and Rob's not playing, Rob's been hurt. That down low defense, man, has been just what's been killing the Celtics. Like, look at Embiid the other night against, Philly. You know what I mean? Would he drop 53 that game? So, come on.
Yeah, I mean, but also, I mean, they won by 2. I just feel like if
That's
you
true. They had everything they had.
if you just let what yeah, if you just let them exhaust themselves, and then, you find a way to just kinda stay, around. Um, but yeah, so, I mean, like I said, we'll see what happens with that, but obviously, we talked about Trae, Young a little bit here so far. He's clearly a star. He's definitely the guy that makes that team go. What would you say how would you look to stop him or at least limit his success, um, in the series?
Well, what Atlanta does well is they get up and go. You know what I mean? They move. They run. Um And they have the perfect offense for that, because they have Trey, they have DeJounte, even Capella can stretch the floor. You know what I mean? Like, so they have these dudes that can run the floor, and it's just a matter of, I think the Celtics have the best transition game in the NBA. So, you match strength with strength at that point, and then you just get out and stop that transition defense, man. You gotta stop that transition. If you don't, that's when the Celtics could see themselves behind on an 11-0 run. You know what I mean? That's what the Hawks do to you, is they go on these elongated runs, and they just run you to death. Um, so if you can stop that transition offense of the Hawks, I think their pace of play is, like, top 5 in the NBA.
Yeah.
One of the only teams ahead of them is the Boston Celtics. So that's
Mm.
why I said, I think there is gonna be a game where it's just, up and down basketball, where we're seeing 130 to 120, where it's just gonna be run, 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 run. But there's also gonna be one of those games where it is a half court pace, where the pace does slow down and the Celtics get them to play their game, and when that happens, the Celtics have such a significant advantage. It's night and day the advantage the Celtics will have in that half court defense and half court offense. I know it can
Right.
get stagnant at times, but it's
Mhm.
it's it's night and day, man. It really is, because the options you have with the driving kicks, the options that you have with those two elite at the rim guys with Jaylen and Tatum. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's just so many different levels the Celtics have in that half court that the Hawks just don't. You know, what's the Hawks' most efficient offensive play? A Trae 3? You know what I mean? A Trae step back somewhere, a John Collins post up. Like, the difference is just apples and oranges. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they don't have any, well, from what I've seen, there's not an automatic play that they have. The
it's just they just run set after set
Well,
to
like I said,
try and get someone open, lots of ball
the
screen.
automatic, right,
But
but the automatic should be that pick and roll. That's what I'm saying. Like, it should be the pick and roll to Collins. Because once again, he can go upstairs, or he can go, as my dad would say, he can go to the penthouse suite. Like, he can go to the top floor, and not many will meet him there. So we have to watch out for that. So, last thing on the Hawks before we jump into what the Celtics are gonna do, and we believe the Celtics are gonna do in the series. So, who do you think serves as Atlanta's X factor? 'Cause I think we brought up a few names already, but just who do you think serves as the X factor for them in the series?
um I'm gonna go Clint Capella because of what a monster he can be on the boards and what a backbreaker that can be for the Celtics at times. Because the Celtics can play great defense, but if you're giving up, what was it last year in the playoffs? At one point, like 16 offensive rebounds, shit
Mhm.
don't matter, man. Your defense doesn't matter if they're getting second opportunity after second opportunity after, because then you just need to make another stop, and it
Right.
doesn't matter what you're doing. That'll kill you every time. So I think that is a big thing that we have to watch. If Capella is causing problems on that offensive glass, I think that's something that could really cause the Celtics some problems. I don't see it happening. I don't, because for that to happen, they need to actually let that start to happen. So I don't think it's gonna happen.
Right.
But
I'm gonna go with Saddiq Bey.
ooh, I like that. I like
I
that one.
I think that he is someone that enjoys playing the Celtics.
That's true.
Um,
That's
and
true.
I think that he looks at that green uniform and green and white and says, "Okay, it is go
What
time."
is it? We used to with Detroit, bro. He killed it. Didn't he score 50 on us once?
No, not on us, but he did score 50 last year, in the game. So, um, and when we did a show a few years ago when he got drafted, I remember I said I thought Detroit
Yeah,
won
yeah.
that draft that a couple years ago with him, Isaiah Stewart, and Killian Hayes. So, um, yeah, I was surprised that Detroit gave up on him this early. Once again, maybe they just thought, maybe we won't have the funds to pay. I don't know, but like that, the fact that he was out there on the market and we could have gave him for fucking Grant Williams. But I mean, it's okay. Like I'm not gonna. You guys stated eloquently why he's not that guy in our previous episode. So I don't
Yeah,
I, I
yeah.
don't have to go back down that road. But yeah, I think Saddiq Bey is someone that I would look out for. I think that he is someone, and once again, he's not gonna shy away in the moment. And in his first full season, I could see him having some very big moments. Uh, and it's ironic that he wears James Posey number, 'cause that's what he kind of reminds me of. But he's a little better offensively than James Posey was, but that he's in that mold. So, I think that's someone that, like I said, we
No
have.
one's better than James Posey was offensively, bro. Come on. Come on. Let's Put some respect on my boy's name here, all right? There is no
You
one
know what I'm saying? That I mean,
than
listen,
James fucking Posey,
the
okay?
corner the corner threes were huge. Offensive rebounds he made in that away run. But once again,
He was on my all-time Celtics team, remember?
yeah, no, yeah, that's true. He was. But no, I said, just to give some objective insight here. But no,
No,
like,
I got you.
but no, yeah, those are two names for sure that we need to look out for. So let's jump into the Celtics. So yes, you know, for the second year in a row, we are a 2 seed. I think we were coming in having different thoughts about them being a 2 seed this year because of how they started the season, and regardless of what it looked like, they got the job done where they needed to. They secured the 2 seed, and now as obviously they're going to be at home for the least at least the first 2 rounds if they continue. So just
Yep. Yep.
um obviously there's things that infuriate us sometimes as fans, as far as the shot selection or when they're moving the ball or not moving the ball. So just what new wrinkle or wrinkles to make a plural would you want to see, whether it be on offense or defense, coming into the series?
So I'm not just looking for so there's nothing specifically in offense or defense I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is the Celtics of the end of last year. I
Mm,
want that team back. I want the team that said, "We ain't afraid of no smoke." I want that squad that comes out and shows us that they're ready for this run, bro. Like, you see glimpses of it down the stretch, but it's not there. You know what I mean? Like, going into this final stretch last year, bro, I don't know if you remember, like, I was like, "We're gonna sweep the Nets. We're gonna fucking kill them." Like, there was no doubt in my mind that this team was gonna show up because of how they played down the stretch and what we see them do in those big moments when shit was on the line, dude. That team was fucking unstoppable last year. That no one was scoring on them. Literally, not a single fucking team could score on that team. I want to see that squad in this
yeah,
first round. That's what I'm looking for. Is that fucking cutthroat mentality when you're up 19 in 5 minutes, be up by 31, not let them get back down to 11. You know what I mean? That's the shit I want to see in this series because listen, you're better than the Hawks. Can they steal a game? Fine. Y- If you win in five, I'm still happy. You know what I mean? They can steal a game. I don't care. In those wins, I want to see you be the better fucking basketball team that you are. I want to
yeah.
see that squad again. That's what I want.
Yeah, no, I mean, once again, totally understandable. Those that will listen to this when it drops, I think will totally understand and agree with that sentiment wholeheartedly. So yes, tangibly, yes, like to see the or intangible, right? Yes, we need to see the effort. The effort needs to be there. On,
'Cause that's what the defense. Because listen,
hard.
the
Yeah,
defense isn't. It's this team can play the defense. You've
right,
seen them do it. We've
right.
literally saw it. So it's like, bro,
Yep. I mean,
we
they
know
still
you
was
can
top
do it, guys.
five.
We know you can do it. I know
Yeah,
they were, which
they
was
still was top
crazy
five
to me.
overall. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, 'cause I think it's because of just the certain losses that stick out in our heads make you forget that they were still top five. And once again, when they need to shut you down for a few moments, for a
They
few
do.
minutes,
They
they
do.
do. So it's just like so whether it's Brogdon or White, Brogdon or Smart, once again, there was still a lot of pieces that were being missed in that time. But to answer the question that I posed, you know, I I want to see more work from Tatum out the mid post. Like
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. Like
Yeah.
and I talked about it on the previous episode, about some things that would just be something we'll see in the playoffs. So I just want to bring that home. I want to reiterate that. Like I think seeing him in the mid post is really a thing of beauty. I think that he makes the best decision 9 times out of 10. Um, and most teams are gonna play zone against us because of how we do shoot the three. So the zone buster is you send that pick, put the guy in the middle. It should be Tatum, and then let him either drive to the basket, and then once you see Collins or Capella or DeAndre Hunter, move up where they come off their man, it's you pass to the corner, you pass to the
Mhm.
other corner, or you're going for the lob, or you go for the layup if you have that space there. So, um, just to make sure you have as many options as possible, from that action. I want to see more of that. I call the JJ Redick play. Um, Tatum and Brown can set the screen for Sam Hauser. Sam Hauser comes off that curl and shoots at the top of the key. Well, excuse me. I think that would be another thing I want to see on a regular basis. I feel like that's something that him and even Muscala can run too. I didn't think that Muscala could run off picks to shoot it, but he
He
showed me
definitely can, bro. He
game.
definitely can.
Yeah, no, yeah, he showed me something
Yeah.
in that final regular season game against Atlanta. So yeah, like I'm excited to see what they do there. And then I actually want to see Marcus Smart guard Trae Young 1-on-1. Don't bring the
You
help.
wanna see the Marcus? You wanna
Yeah,
see
yeah,
Marcus?
you earned the fifth player of the year. You earned being a dog. Like I want to see you guard Trey 1-on-1. Um, don't I mean once again, don't ask for help. Don't come off nothing. Don't go under a screen because once again he's gonna
Hate
get
that
50
shit.
if that's the case. If you go under the screen, he's gonna get 50. I'm telling you that right now.
You think
Um,
they'd learn from Golden State last year.
but I'm like he's in. And I know you said that he's not Steph. He doesn't have to be. He can get hot with the best of them, and
He can, for
like
sure.
so, I'd rather not see that.
Well, that's how they
Right,
win it. That's how they win a game.
right, correct. So
That's how they get a game in this series is Trae scores 50. That's literally it. I mean, Collins can go off. All these things can happen.
yeah,
If Trae doesn't score 40 to 50, they're not gonna win against the Celtics team, in my opinion.
right. No, correct. That's and once again, as a fan, I'd like to see him get 45. As a fan,
I
um,
love Trae. I
as a fan
love
of the
playing with
game,
him in
as a fan of
2K.
the game. But like I said, as a Celtics fan first, it's like, yo, do whatever you can to slow them it down.
Well,
Period. You know?
it's I feel like the Celtics are match up so well against the Hawks because of the elite defenders we have at that guard position and how easy Trae is to knock off his game. Like I said earlier, like that's their crutch is like Trae and the whole Hawks team can shoot 45 to 50% from three on any given night. For sure. They can. There's no doubt about it. Trae will score 40. The rest of them will be shooting lights out. But they also can go 8 for 40
Yeah.
just as easily. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
there's no in between for sure,
if
yeah.
if they start missing, bro, they start missing. And that's what the Celtics have to do to them is they have to get in their face. We gotta see that because I'm not gonna I was a little disappointed with Marcus Smart this year. I know he was in a different role. He doesn't have as much shine because of the Brogdon deal, because he was hurt for a little while.
Yeah,
And he was coming back from he doesn't have that glimmer that he had last year. I kind of want to see that in this series, like you said. I want
yeah,
to see him shut that motherfucker down
yeah,
to the point
yeah,
where Trey we see the trade that ran what's his name out of town. I wanna see that trade in this series where he's over on the bench throwing a towel, throwing a fucking hissy fit, doing that Trey thing
yeah, we don't
has
wanna see New
given
York
that
straight.
negative reputation, right. We don't
Don't
we
wanna
don't
see
wanna
New
see
York straight.
Knicks Trey. Wait, right,
Tell me
right.
it's quiet as fuck, yeah, we don't that's the thing. 'Cause I will say just to give them to give that team credit, 'cause most of that team is still there now. Um, they rose to the occasion, 'cause Madison Square Garden is not an easy place to
They
play in.
don't play like that anymore, though. They're
No,
different.
right, but I'm saying it's there though, is what I'm saying. So I'm just like,
It is. You're right.
you limit that moment because once again, as soon as he turns it on, once he did okay, I put it like this where because you said about knocking him off his game because that's true. But if he's locked in like he was against New York and then against Philly and then Milwaukee before end up losing that series, like that's when he starts talking, he's
Yeah.
doing the shimmy, and
Can't
then
let
he's
him do that. Can't
talking
let
to
him
the
do that.
ground. And
Agreed.
you don't want any of that
And
because that way
that power
if it's going
transfers to
7.
DeJounte too. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've seen them. So a couple times this year, Trae will get hot, and if
Mhm.
DeJounte gets hot too, because that's also another thing Celtics need to do is make DeJounte shoot.
Yeah.
DeJounte he's a Marcus Smart prototype. That's how I look at DeJounte. He's a little bit better at the rim than Marcus Smart is, but like
Yeah.
that same prototype where it's if you're forcing him to shoot 3 pointers, that's what you want from DeJounte because I think he's like 33. He's in the 30s somewhere
Yeah, those
from
30s,
three.
yeah.
And that's but the thing is though is it's like a force power where when Trae gets hot, DeJounte will get hot too, and then you have to fade over towards Trae, and then DeJounte has more lanes to the basket. So, like, that's why it's so key for the Celtics to shut down Trae, and in turn, that should help shut down DeJounte because you're gonna be forcing him into forcing the issue and shooting jump shots and doing what DeJounte is not comfortable doing. So that's it right there.
No, for sure. So, want to bring it back over to our side. Right before the end of the season, unfortunately, Jaylen Brown injured his hand.
Ugh,
Removing
that sucked.
do like, why would you not have a brum? But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. Does the hand injury give you any concern
We'll
for
see.
the series? Is
Well,
he ready to go?
hey, I don't know. I honestly don't, man, because like, you don't know until you see it with that type of stuff, because when it comes to the hands and the wrist and things like that, you think they're good until they shoot a jumper, and you're like, "Ugh."
Uh,
Oh, you know what I mean? You can usually tell pretty early. It was like Tatum when he had that shit last year with that
mm,
shoulder where you're like, "Oh, he's good," and then he shot, and you were like,
oh
"Oh,
yeah.
fuck." I've 'Cause, like, I'd never seen Jason Tatum shoot so many air balls in my entire life that he did at the end of last year. Have you seen him shoot 1
No,
air ball all year long? 1,
no.
not 1, and he had 4 in the NBA finals last year. So it's like, you just know immediately, so I think we'll know quick if he's okay. But yeah, no, I'm a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just because it's the hand, bro. And Jalen's superpower is his at the rim play and his jump shooting and like things that you need. You need your hands, bro. You do.
So I think we'll see more of. And I said this on the show before. That turnaround jumper he has, I feel like he got from Gordon Hayward. I know people will say he got it on his own, but I'm like, if you watch Sabre Gordon Hayward pre-injury, that stop, pop, and
I was
turnaround,
gonna say the 1 foot.
that was
Yeah,
Gordon Hayward's signature shot.
in
And
Utah, in
I'll tell
Utah,
his to I'll challenge anyone to talk to me about that because I'm like, it's not an opinion, that's a fact. But anyways, um,
he was so good.
I think we see more of that shot. I think that we see more of him getting to the rim with his left hand instead. Because listen, as good as DeAndre Hunter is as right, remember him from game 2 last year? Right, exactly. Um, as good as DeAndre Hunter is as a defender, if Jalen wants to go left, he's gonna go left. If he wants to go right, he's gonna go right. So, is there concern? Sure, because with any injury, you want to make sure that you're not, further injuring it hence making it worse. So yeah, I do think that he'll be a little cautious, maybe game 1. Actually, you know what? No, I'll flip that. I think he comes out firing game 1 because the adrenaline is gonna be crazy. It's game 2 on Tuesday where you're gonna be like, okay, like, is he okay? Is he good? But let's see what happens there. So, but yeah, like I said, there's not much concern. I would say on a scale of 1 to 100, it's like I might got a 15 or 20. Like I'm not like, oh my god, I think it's gonna be the detriment to him, like it was a few years ago when I think he got hurt right before the playoffs or hurt before, and it was just literally Tatum playing 105 against that Nets team, and I'm like, and remember I was saying it was like if we had both of them, we'd have a chance.
51. Those we scored 51 that one game. Yeah, that was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was so
Right,
as depressing as that series was, that's when you knew Tatum arrived, though,
right,
because
correct.
remember he showed up against Kevin Durant and didn't just show up and play well, he was better than Durant that night. That's when you knew. But yeah, no, 100%. I completely agree with you. Couldn't agree more. And I think it's funny that, like, up until this point, 40 something minutes into this podcast, we
Mm.
literally haven't talked about what a mismatch the forwards are with the Celtics and the Hawks.
Oh
It
yeah,
is
go.
it is unfair what a mismatch the Celtics have over the Hawks right now. In this, it's Tatum and Brown versus DeAndre Hunter and John Collins. Bro, when the Celtics go with that small lineup and they just have, I think I don't know how much we're going to see that two big lineup this series, because when you have Tatum or Brown mashed up
Mm.
on John Collins, bro, it is he can't stay with either one of those two.
Yeah,
Not
mi
not
mi
not
mix,
even
yeah,
not
mix,
even
yeah,
close, bro.
yeah,
So
right.
That's such a mismatch. I mean, DeAndre Hunter's a little bit better on the perimeter, but still, that's also a mismatch. So, I mean, the Celtics have to exploit this. So, like, especially in those
Right.
first 2 games, like you said, because I
Mm,
think the key is to let Brown go off in those first 2 games, and then we'll see a lot more Grant rotating in. We'll see a lot more Hauser rotating in. We'll see a lot more of these dudes
who's
rotating in if we have
right.
that 2-game lead, you know?
Who who's gonna be the Mike Bibby though? Who's gonna make the Mike Bibby comment if we go up 2-0? Remember we was talking about, he's like, "The fans ain't doing nothing, fans ain't this," and then he was talking crazy, and next thing we got to Boston and just demolished them or whatever, like, he was talking about how
I was at one of those Atlanta games,
yeah,
bro. That
yeah,
Garden,
crazy,
that shit
crazy.
was we talked about this, right?
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
you
it's
were there
insane.
too, bro, where you couldn't I've never been in a louder stadium in my entire life. Like, me and my buddy were next to each other,
Mhm.
and we couldn't hear each other talk. It
Oh,
was
man.
un That's why Al came
Yeah,
here. That is why Al Horford is in Boston to this day, is because 'cause it's the only game we won that series, right? Did we lose in 5
yeah.
or 6?
No, it's 2nd, yeah, this is 2016, so yeah, 6, yeah. But
S That's
so
why he's here.
yeah,
For the
but
record.
I would say this may be the first time, well, this might be the first time since 2012 that we had the advantage in the front court because they've always been more athletic than us, regardless of their record.
Who,
So,
Atlanta?
yeah, think about
Yeah,
Josh
yeah.
Smith, obviously a young Al Horford, um, a
Josh
young
Smith was a problem back in
he
the day,
was,
bro, just a
a young
problem.
a young Josh Childress.
Oh,
Um,
Mr. Stanford? Mi
yeah, but,
the
you know, so
he's in
yeah,
what, China now, right? China?
yeah, I think so, yeah, so they always had the
He had the
advantage.
fro. He had the fro.
They was always younger, always more athletic, so I think, we finally, this is the first time in in a decade or so, had that advantage there, and once again, the only time I think they beat us recently, was in 2016, when they beat us 4-2, but I think I got tickets for my mom to go to that game 4 when, IT had dropped 42, and, I was like, "Man, this dude is
King of the 4th, bro. King of the
this
4th.
dude was
King of the 4th.
like, I'm like, I might go watch some highlights after we get out of here,
I got
just
IT
that
I got
moment, like, this was phenomenal.
I got IT on my 2K team. It's fucking awesome. I
No,
love
great,
IT,
yeah,
bro.
just yeah, just
Um,
awesome, awesome,
so
oh, yeah, go ahead.
I have a question for you. So when we don't play that 2 big lineup, right? Who do you wanna see out there? Because personally, I want Rob over Al in this series specifically, at least because of Capella. Capella's got length, he's long, and I just feel like Rob matches up better against him, and I hope.
How do you draw him out, though?
What do you mean?
So, I'm saying Rob's not a threat to shoot. Like,
That's
you
true.
you
That's
need
true.
to take Capella out
Out
of
of
the
the
paint.
paint. Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
No,
yeah, yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
I just I don't know, I feel like you're right, though. No, you're right. You're 100%.
No,
I was
I mean,
trying to,
yeah,
and,
yeah,
like,
yeah, there's a
you
I mean,
gotta get him out of the paint. That's how we beat. You're right.
yeah, there's moments when Rob will be more effective, like, I think if like, honestly, I still want him off the bench. I still do. I still want Rob off.
100%. He's
I
so
know that
effective off the
I
bench.
know I know they're not gonna do it,
I
because
think
of
they might in the first round. I think Al starts. I think they go small.
they should
They
do it
start the
they should do
small
it the
lineup.
rest as long as the rest of the playoffs, keep Rob on the bench. That's just how I feel. Um, unless you run to Philly, like, that's, well, I mean, well, unless they're
We're
gonna
gonna
run
run in the Philly.
because I'm
Yeah.
like, Brooklyn's not beating them. Brooklyn may get a
One.
game,
One.
maybe.
If
Um,
Bridges and Cam go
Bridges and
off, that's
yeah,
it. That's it.
yeah, that's about it. So, um, to me, I just you gotta draw Capella out. You gotta make sure that um, he's guarding somebody because once again, he can just sit there and just be in the paint. Um, I think we might see a Congo on their side a lot more too.
I
Uh,
was actually who else is there big? It's a
there's a
Congo
Congo
in
and Capella and no, them is a Philly.
Johnson. Johnson, is he big? No, he's just
Might be. I'm not sure. So those are the two.
Okongwu's pretty good, though. He's not bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, Collins is considered a big two for them, but I mean, he's not someone he's not gonna block any shots at the rim, even though, which is wild. He has to be 6'10", and to jump the way he jumps, like, he should be punching
Well,
everything.
because they don't play him like that, and I think that's also something you gotta take advantage of, where,
Yeah,
like, they don't utilize John Collins in the way that John Collins should be utilized, and he attacked like you said, bro, attack that man because they don't let him play the way that he could,
yeah.
letting him take those athletic, chances and things like that, like the Celtics do with Rob. You know what I mean? Rob is special because the Celtics let him be special because we have Al playing that defense that he does because we let Rob out of his cage at times, just like, "Bro, go block some goddamn shots," and Rob's like, "Fuck yeah, let's go." And you know what I
Well,
mean? It's
I love
just
the
such a different
soundbite.
machine.
I love the soundbite he had the other day too when it was like, what did Joe say on the sideline? Joe says, "Score the fucking ball."
Bro, that's what I mean.
I'm like,
And then let him do
we
his
got
thing,
to
bro.
no, but it's like we got to have, like, he has to be at least a threat. Like, you don't have to shoot the 15-footer, but,
Imagine
um,
if he did. Imagine if Robert Williams
yeah, I
had
was
a
telling
15 to 17-foot jumper, bro. He would be an all-star center every single year, right?
yeah. Yeah,
Every
I
year.
mean, yeah, just about. I mean, the guy I want him to work with actually was just they just played him in the playoffs last year. I would love for him to work with LaMarcus Aldridge. I think that would
Ooh,
be
just get
that
that.
yeah, that shot, don't jump too much. I mean, even though I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
that would be perfect.
That LaMarcus jumper was deadly, bro. The
yeah,
18-footer.
I would seek him out and say, "Okay, you would have mastered the mid-range from, for a long time. Can you come work with us?" Because I think that would be another wrinkle, like we talked about earlier, of the offense. You're like, "Oh my god," like, that would be insane there. Um,
Can't work him too hard, though, because if you do, then he might get some tension in his knees and get tendinitis and then be out
no,
for
but set
54
shot.
games,
You gotta
and
move, just boom, just LaMarcus LA can rebound from him,
I
kick
know,
back
I
to
know,
him.
I know,
Yeah,
I know.
that's
I'm just
about it. But you're not wrong. So,
sick of his
before
shit.
right, before I get into the X factor question, I wanna talk a little bit about coaching, right? Because obviously
Oh, you read my goddamn mind. Wow, that was good, bro. That was good. You read my mind.
Want to get into the coaching. Obviously, we've lamented on the show all year, mainly me, about Joe Mazzulla not being ready for this moment. Will he do this? Will he call a timeout? Will he call the right play? Um, so just who has the coaching advantage here? And then just what do you want to see from our guy first before they advance in this round?
I think this is the perfect team for Joe Mazzulla to face for his first playoff matchup. Because if there's any team that has been coached for less games and for a less amount of time than the Celtics with Joe Mazzulla,
Mhm.
it is the Atlanta Hawks with Quin Snyder. This is only his like 23rd game as their
Right,
coach. So
right.
this is the perfect setup because he can fuck up when it comes to, his rookie coaching mistakes and learn from that. But he knows his team better than Quin Snyder knows his team. You know what I mean?
Right.
He knows those in and outs better. So I feel like there is no one else that Joe Mazzulla at this point would have a coaching advantage over besides Quin Snyder going into this series. Like that's one of the reasons I was scared of the Heat because Spoelstra, bro. You know what I mean? It would have been we would have been dominated on the coaching front. In
Yeah.
your first playoff series ever, going up against a dude who has won what 3 NBA or won 3, been to 4, has made countless Eastern Conference Finals runs. Like we would have been screwed on
Actually,
the coaching
5
front.
actually. Been 5.
5 been to 5, right? That's right. I forgot he
Yeah,
was.
yeah, they beat us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
so, yeah, so 5, yep,
They lost to the Lakers, right? Yeah, yeah,
yep,
yeah.
mhm,
Wow, I forgot about that.
crazy.
Yeah, bubble. But yeah, so this is the perfect matchup for Joe to kind of get his feet wet in this playoff thing because I think there is going to be a point where he is going to have to make a critical substitution or a critical rotation piece or like something along the lines that we're going to notice that Joe made like a decision, and we'll see if it goes one way or the other. There's going to be a specific point where we're going to either see if he's growing and we're ready for this with him as our coach, or if that's something we need to watch throughout the rest of the playoffs. I guarantee you, within the first 2 games, we're going to be in that Discord, either being like, "Bro, we're good. Joe's got this," or we're going to be like,
Yeah,
this is a problem going forward."
and, I mean, it's all about like I said, it's all about 'cause I'm assuming it'll be like a man rotation off the bench, so, I mean, it's so obviously it's
So. Well, let's talk that out real
Smart.
quick. So yeah, Smart. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So Smart, Brown,
Yeah,
Tatum,
yeah,
Rob, Al. So that's five.
yeah.
Then Brogdon, White, and then you're either rotating Grant, Hauser, or maybe,
Or Muscala.
honestly, I the way Blake gets played for us, I'd give Blake running the first
Me too, bro. Me fucking too. I
absolutely.
tr- I
Yeah.
trust I trust Blake and Muscala over Grant. I want to see them experiment with that a little more in that first round. If we can, if we go up 2-3-0, you know what I mean? I want to see a lot more of these dudes besides Grant. But yeah, I agree about an 8-man rotation. Maybe 9 on certain nights, but I think
On the road,
it's
I'd
8.
do nine because someone's gonna get in the foul trouble because the refs are gonna call.
Who's spelling who's I think we're in the same exact goddamn problem as we were last year though, right? Tatum and Brown are gonna have against the Bucks, against these teams. Tatum and Brown are gonna have to
Unless
play
Gallo,
40 goddamn minutes a night, bro. Every
yep,
single time.
unless Gallo makes a surprise
It's
return.
fucking
Game three.
it's frustrating, man. They're gonna have to do it again. They have to.
I guess. I mean, Hauser showed me enough. Because remember we talked about the beginning of the season, like
He's
we wondered if he was gonna be someone that could be a guy. He proved to
he's a
me.
15-minute guy. He can play
Right, but
15 minutes.
that's more than enough because
That's
you
true.
don't want
That's true.
you don't want him playing 20-25, but you don't want Brown and Tatum playing 45 either. Like at 38 to me is the sweet spot.
Yeah, I like 38. 38 sounds good.
37, 38,
41 too much.
41 on
Too
overtime.
much.
Yeah, maybe you know what I'm saying, but at the max. But yeah, 38 is the sweet spot. Um, and even for Al, like the sweet spot to me is like 34, 35 for him. Especially
I would
now.
even go lower. I would even go if you
Well,
if
obviously,
you can.
ideally, you want to play 30, but I
Yeah,
mean,
30 sounds good.
it's yeah, 33 at the most, maybe, right? Same thing with Rob, like you want him around 30 tops for Rob. 25 to 30 would be the sweet spot there. So, we'll see,
You
but
know what
yeah,
the sweet spot is for Grant?
no, but I mean, but we say that, but I'm like, what he did in the first round last year, if he resembles a little bit of that, then I'm
Listen,
fine with that, right?
yeah, okay. Listen,
What he
if we
did
get
against
that
Kevin
Grant,
Durant, huh?
if we get that Grant, that's fine. But
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
if we get this
we don't want the
motherfucker,
Milwaukee.
yeah,
Yeah,
but if we get
I'll
this
make them
motherfucker
both.
who goes, I'm gonna make both, and bro, that shit,
Yeah,
you're
no,
not there,
trust
bro.
me, I'm with you. I was done. I do love that he was able to poke fun at it because I think sometimes some players just kind of go into a spiral and take it
Yeah, you fucking
serious.
lost the game because of it, bro.
No,
Lost
no,
that
right, no,
fucking
no,
game.
sure, but I'm like I just think that the season then wasn't over in that moment, and
Yeah, I know. Okay,
myself,
you're right.
myself, myself, and many others made it seem like the season was over, and that was ridiculous.
That's so unlike Celtics Twitter to
Yeah,
do
no,
that. That's
of
so
course, of
unlike
course.
Celtics Nation.
So it's just like, and you'll see it Saturday if the game starts at 3:30. Like if by 4:45, he's like after halftime, Atlanta 61, Boston 56. They're gonna say Atlanta in 5. Like that's that's just that's just what it is. Like people are gonna overreact. I'm probably gonna go ballistic. I'll be there. I don't know where they're gonna have me at
You gonna
yet.
be there? You gonna be? All right, you're gonna
Yeah,
be
I'm
there?
working. Yeah,
I
I'm
don't.
working.
I know. I'm being a dick.
No, yeah, so it's just like, can't wait, man. But like I said, we'll see what Joe has. I'm excited to see what he ends up doing. So,
Wait. Before we move on, question for you.
yep.
So, game 1, right? It's the Celtics are up second quarter. It's like 58-47, right?
Mhm.
All of a sudden, Trae comes down, bang, bang, 2 threes. Does he call a timeout? What do you think? In that
Oh,
playoffs, you don't think he's calling a timeout?
nope. I
What
think
about 3? What about 3?
so 3 in a row. Yeah.
So
I,
after the second one, right? Tatum goes down, turns it over, or Brown turns it over, then down, bang, another 3. All of a sudden, it's a 3-point game. Timeout.
that's what you call time. But I think 2 3s in a row, you don't overreact. Once again, it's Trae Young. Like this is not, like he can that can easily happen. And I would say I'm 97% sure the scenario you just put out
It's
there
gonna
is
happen.
gonna fucking happen.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's going to happen. They'll be up by 10 or 11.
Bang!
And
Bang!
Trae Young goes to the game. Celtics, like,
And they're down 3. Fucking love Mike Green, bro. Makes
oh
the
my
playoffs so
God.
much better.
It's just like, or if, I don't know if it's or if Mark Jones. I love Mark Jones too. He's hot in fish grease. So I don't want to hear any of those calls. On the call, I don't. If we're hearing that, that means I want to hear these other fish grease for, the Celtics obviously, but not for anybody in the opposing team. But yeah, that scenario you just mentioned will happen. But like I said, 2 threes in a row, you don't call a timeout. But like once it gets to 3, 4, once again, you're not letting a 14-0 run. Like the analogy I always bring up, it's funny. It was in Doc Rivers' final year here, and we ended up losing to the Knicks in 6 games. And in
I
that
remember the 19. Wasn't it 19-0?
20-0 run,
20?
game 6, New York is smacking us. And it's funny, kind of we know the writing's on the wall. Like, we know the season's about to be over. And the Celtics go ballistic, like just it's unreal. Avery Bradley getting steals, Jeff Green getting steals. Like it was like an act of God in that moment. What was going on? So, you don't want those type of moments. Or you think about even back to the '90s when Reggie Miller was killing the Knicks. Pat Riley wasn't fucking around. Soon as Miller had got one, oh, he's hot. Time out. Time out. So that's where it's kind of I need something in between that, Joe. I need between Reggie Miller and then let him play it out. I need something in between that. So, but yeah, that's totally happening now that you put it out there in the atmosphere. But like I said, go ahead.
I was gonna say one more hypothetical for you. So, do you do you have the same faith as we did last year in this Celtics team when they're down? I'm not sure if I do. I don't know if it's because I haven't seen it because they haven't been down at all this season. Because if they either win, when they win big usually, and if they lose, it's to a shitty team and they absolutely shit the bed in that game. That seems to be the dynamic trend of this Celtics season, right?
But that's what was happening last year too. Like I felt like they, I remember the game
They were
against
mopping the floor with teams. You're right. They were.
they were mopping the floor, but I mean, even that Brooklyn game too, right? Brooklyn is killing us in game 2. People forget that because they ended up winning the game, but Brooklyn was smacking us. Kyrie was giving. I was there.
The buzzer beater? The buzzer beater? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that was the Kyrie supervillain game, wasn't it?
Right, and he was on the other
Yeah,
side.
he's doing
But he was getting whatever he wanted.
whatever.
We forget
Fucking good in that game.
good. Like we
He was
forgot
so
because
fucking
they
good.
lost the game, but I'm like, he was getting whatever he wanted. Marcus Smart was in the blender. They was in the everywhere. Everybody was on the group. Everyone was getting cooked, and all of a sudden, like I said, they're down 17. You're like, whoa, like what happened? And then they just chip away. And once again, now having Brogdon, having White, and Smart, I think I want to see a lineup with them all three on at the same time. I think that would be phenomenal to see how they would defend. And you can have like Tatum be like a small 5 there, and it'd be
I love it.
Smart Brogdon,
I
Brown.
I have such a boner right now.
That really
I have such an interaction right now. Let's go.
Yeah, that would be phenomenal to see.
It's our version of the death lineup, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
We
That
could
would
fucking run track meets on teams with that fucking lineup.
Oh yeah, don't know how they would rebound, but they would. Smart.
We wouldn't need to,
right?
bro. We wouldn't fucking need because we just been sprinting up and down the court the entire goddamn game.
So
you don't need to rebound when you're shooting goddamn layups all fucking game.
That's true. So that's a lineup I would like to see, if possible. And once again, we may get that moment, in the players, whether it's foul trouble or someone's thing.
The only reason that worries me about it is the defense, and I'm gonna keep coming back to it, man. That's why we knew they were never out of a fucking game last year.
Yeah.
That is why, bro. Every fucking time they would be down. I remember talking you off of ledges, bro, being like, they'd be down 18, and I'd be like, Ray Sean,
in a row, bro. And it was lost 2 in a row.
They never lost 2 in a row. Oh, I hope that happens again. That was so. Do you remember that? Every fucking.
I was gonna put it out. I was so bad. Also,
But the defense, bro, was why we knew they were never out of games. Like, they could be
right,
down, whatever. We knew that they were gonna get stops at some point. We knew it was coming, and it was just a matter of scoring and taking advantage of those opportunities when they come.
right, exactly.
This team doesn't have I hope they turn it on. I do. But they don't have that same fucking, like, you got no
There was
marbles feeling that they did last
there
year
was
that,
yeah,
like,
that's true, that's true. There was a few games. I mean, granted, it's a not the
it
opponent,
could
but
come out, right? It could listen, we could still see it.
I think about
It's
I think
could be
about the
there.
not the game that they got smacked. I'm talking about OKC came here to Boston, and once again, Shea, SGA, and the rest of them were still giving us business. And Marcus Smart said, "Not tonight," and just went ballistic,
Okay.
got about like 4 or 5 stops in a row. So it's like, I mean, granted, and I know that's OKC. I know they were probably motivated because of what happened, a few weeks prior to that. But I just think that we've seen different stints. And once again, yes, to say the defense didn't take a step back, you didn't watch this team. But once again, for them to be number one in defensive rebounding percentage, for them to
That
be
is bro, I that is
dominant.
shocking, but it is shocking
But I
because
think they had such a big lead on it early in the year, though, even without Rob, which is wild. I think that's kind of what they just end up being.
I think that's just
Um,
maybe it's
they
PTSD, bro.
were
I don't
someone's.
know.
Say again.
I said maybe it's PTSD from past years
Oh
because,
no,
like,
for sure. Like,
because it
yeah,
whenever we give up an
trigger.
offensive rebound, it goes down my spine. You know what I mean? I'm like, "Oh my god, no."
Yeah, I mean, it was once again, we don't want that. We don't need any additional pain. Once again, it's gonna be enough pain watching a close game if possible. So, yeah. So like I said, they definitely took a step back defensively, but they just have to make sure that they sharpen a lot of things. That's why I'm glad Al said what he said because Al knows how to hold them accountable. Like you got to read it between the lines with Al because he'll give you praise, but he was just like, yeah, defense was X, Y, and Z, but there's still room for improvement. There's still this. So yeah, there's another gear. And once again, Al Horford was our best player many times in the playoffs last year.
That's a fact.
Like
That is a
that
goddamn fact, bro.
that
That is
that,
a
that,
straight
that, that
fact.
game 4 in Milwaukee,
Oh, he was so fucking
um,
good in that game.
the dunk.
Remember that stare? Oh,
Yeah,
I can't wait for this.
the dunk
I
on Giannis, which
can't
I
wait.
thought they were gonna call the offensive foul because of just how they ref Giannis. Um, but man, I was like that the and one. I've never seen him that animated ever in his career, even from
Yeah.
Atlanta, from Florida days. Like I've never seen him that animated. And once again, because he is going to be 37 by the end of the playoffs, I urge you, Jason Tatum, I urge you, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon, the list goes on and on and on. I urge you to have the urgency that Al Horford has.
Urge you to have the urgency.
I
Yep.
urge you to have the because he understands the severity of the moment.
Yep.
That's why he was so good
Yep.
last year in the playoffs. He actually his whole stint here in Boston, he's been excellent in the playoffs. Excellent.
Yep. Even
Um,
the Kyrie year. Even the
yeah,
Kyrie
even
year.
yeah, excellent.
He was the only one that showed
The
up in
game
that game.
the
Was it
game
game
winner and
5?
the game winner in Phil oh, that's the that's the year before, but
But
that was the year before in Cleveland. But no, I'm saying the game winner in Philly,
the turnaround,
the
bro. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, that was awesome. So it's like you remember those moments. The dunk that he had on not the dunk. I remember the end one he had on Tristan Thompson. Like so he's had moments here in the postseason. He's always understood the severity of the moment. And I'm begging the rest of y'all on this Boston Celtics team to follow his lead. And go win one for him. He deserves to
So
go out on top. Well, no, I
so
mean,
s
he signed an extension, but he deserves to get one. Once again, he's a two-time national champion. He's a six-time, five-time All-Star. Um, he's had a hell of a career. He deserves to get one um
agreed.
before his career is over.
So that's a good segue. I'll do it for you.
Mhm.
Is he your X factor? Is not so let's expand this a little bit because I think we know how this Atlanta series is gonna go, right?
Mm,
We know if it doesn't go the way we wanna go, there's a lot of changes and a lot of talk that we're gonna have on this podcast moving
right,
forward. Let's
correct.
put it that way. Um, for the whole playoff run, right?
Mhm.
Who's the X factor? Who besides Tatum and Brown, because we know what we need from them, right? They gotta combine for an average of 70 p when we won't set the bar that, they gotta combine for an average of 60 to 65 points every night. Between the 2 of them, they gotta score 60 to
Yeah,
65
just
for
score
us
your
to win
average.
the finals, right.
Just get the average.
That's what they gotta do. We
Yeah,
know
just
that.
get the average, yeah. Mhm.
Who is the guy that is going to bring this team a championship?
It's the guy we traded for in the offseason, Malcolm Brogdon. Like, it's
Okay.
without a doubt.
Yep.
Um, you know, you know, 13 reasons, 13 whatever, like, this guy is he's the model of consistency. I call him, Mr. President. Um, he is the guy for me. Um, he is the one guy off that second unit that can get a shot whenever he wants. He can get 30 whenever he wants. Um, and he's gonna hit 85, 90% of his free throws, so he's not afraid of the moment there. Um, and once again, when he's locked in defensively, he's as good as any two guard in the league defensively. So yeah, I think him, he not even it's not by far, but I think he's the guy that I think of that has to be he has to be the difference. Once again, you were brought in to be the difference. Now go out there and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was between 2 guys, and he was definitely one of them because what he brings, man, is A, he allows Marcus to not be the focal point when Brogdon's out there, of the offense. He doesn't have to run the offense. He's allowed to go be Marcus and do his thing and focus on the defense and not have to worry about, taking care of the ball, taking care of all this other stuff. Um I gotta say it's Rob. It's Rob, man.
Mhm.
Like you said, what was the quote that you gave us?
Oh, no, no,
If there
no Rob, no Rob, no ring.
no Rob, no ring. And
Yeah.
and I think that that is so real that
Mhm.
it scares me. It does. It really scares me, man, because for us to rely on such fragile knees
Mhm.
in this playoff run because
No,
we're
no.
not gonna beat this version of Giannis, doing what he's doing this year without a healthy Rob Williams. We're not gonna beat we might beat Philly without a healthy Rob because we dominate Philly, but it's gonna be a lot harder to beat Philly without a dominant Rob. You look out west, we're not gonna beat Jokic without a dominant Rob. We're not gonna beat the Lakers without a dominant Rob, stuffing the rim from LeBron. We're not gonna beat any of these teams that are at the top of the NBA right now. Maybe Sacramento because we could just get in a track race with them or a track meet. But like even Golden State, you saw what happened last year when Rob wasn't at 100% and they
Mhm.
could get offensive rebounds. They could get to the rim. Draymond was doing his thing. It all circles back to Robert Williams. We are not winning a championship without him playing that defense. It's not
Right.
happening. You know what I mean? There's literally no feasible way that without unless Mike Muscala and Grant Williams take such an astronomical leap in this playoffs,
Yeah.
without a Robert Williams giving us at least 25 impactful minutes against those teams every
I
night.
mean, we
It's
we
not happening.
we saw it, well, no, it wasn't the last year. I remember even 2 years ago against Brooklyn, not last year, 2 years ago, right? The man had 9 blocks in a
Bro,
game.
that's what I mean.
9
That
blocks
he
in
could
game
take that
1.
shit over. Take it
Na
over.
9 blocks. I said, "Whoa,"
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Wow," like that is, that is that is something, but, um and I have to say this before we get into the prediction, which we've talked about already, but I just wanna give it an official, segment to it, but,
I think we should do whole
I
playoff
love
predictions too.
yeah, I love that y'all gave Derek White his flowers on a previous show.
Bro,
Um,
it would have been
I
dope.
had been banging the drum since he got here. I said I was premature with it, but I was like, "He's gonna win us a series." I'm telling you guys, like, he's not
Yeah,
the
you
smart
weren't premature. You were 100% right. He won
yeah,
us
it's
a
like he's not
fucking
the no,
series.
I'm saying, but I am saying it from day one, and you guys was like, I was like I was like, "No," like, I'm like, I'm telling you guys, like, the guy I saw play in San Antonio, like, I'm telling you, you're gonna love him. You just got give it time. Like, he's gonna be the guy that he's not gonna be the best player, but he's gonna be our most consistent player, and that's exactly what he's been. He played all 82 games. Um,
I feel like
like,
he needed
phenomenal.
time to stand out,
Yeah.
apart from Smart. You know what I mean? He plays such a similar game to Marcus Smart that he felt pressure to, like, to be different than who he was
Yeah.
because he needed to be a different kind of player than what Marcus was. But now with Brogdon, it separates them a little more, and they're allowed to both do their thing. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like I said, he blocks shots. He defends his position well. I think Dave talked about him being he needs to be all NBA, all defense.
Defense, yeah.
He might for sure. And wasn't it? He's just more comfortable, obviously. Like that's not debatable. So, let's just give our predictions for the series. I'll let you go with that first, and I'll give mine. I think you'll like where I go with mine. So, just for this series.
For just this series,
Yep.
uh, ball goes according to plan. It should be a sweep. I if the only way is not like we said is if Trae has a Trae game. That's the
Yep.
only way this isn't a sweep because we're such a better team, and we're put together in a way that should dominate this Atlanta Hawks team with our defense at the guard position, with our length and our speed and just athleticism at the 3 and the 4. And then with Al and Rob at the big, you know what I mean? Like, we should dominate Capella and Okongwu. So, like,
Yeah.
we're literally built to dominate this specific type of team. So, it should be a sweep, worst case 5. If it goes anything beyond 5, uh, we're gonna have to have some talks about this playoff run and where it's going, in my opinion.
No, I mean for sure. I'm going with 5 because I think this series would be similar to once again we won a different end result because they lost in the finals that year. But um when we faced Miami in 2010 and we beat Miami in 5, right? Smacked them the first 2 games at home. Um, Paul Pierce is the game winner in game 3. I remember watching it at Lucy Hall at Dean. Shout out to Dean.
Hey,
Uh,
Lucy Hall, that was a nice haul. You're
yeah,
in the good digs,
exactly.
bro.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
in
I
the
was
good
watching in the
digs.
lounge. Yeah, I was sitting there going crazy with my dominoes, watching it hit me at the game 3.
Bought with
I
Boomers
think
Bucks. Bought with Boomers Bucks.
there you go. I think Jaylen Brown hits the game winner in game 3. To put us up
Ooh,
2-0. Trade goes stupid in game 4. Atlanta wins game 4.
in Atlanta, in that
Yeah,
Atlanta
and
atmosphere.
and and then we run them out the building in game 5.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, that's how it goes down. We went 4-1. So, once again, it's an exciting time of the year. Once
Wait,
again,
wait, wait, wait,
listen to
wait. No,
playoffs. Yeah, go ahead.
it's first series, first round. I want to know, Rayshawn,
Okay.
are we winning the fucking finals? Tell me right now. I want a prediction from you. Do you think this team? Do we have it?
Go
Do
crazy. We got a
do we
clip,
got it,
baby.
bro? Right? Is
Oh, put feet to the
because
guts of your head, right? Like Mike says,
well,
guts of your
right?
head.
I mean, so just think. This team is technically better
Mhm.
than the squad we had last year, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
What's
They are.
not better about it? So
They are. Yeah.
so what do you think? Do we win?
So, listen, everyone knows that I've been crazy emotional. I haven't gone too crazy online lately 'cause I'm just like, I was waiting for this time of the year. But will I have
Same, bro.
other emotions throughout this playoffs? Absolutely. I'm going to. Everyone knows I'm gonna go crazy. But yes, I do think in June, I'll be a part of the Garden Parade. I don't know if I'll be on the boat or not because I'm not getting in the water. Huh, but I will gladly be at TD, if they're hosting the trophy and doing something there. So, yeah, I do think come June, they figure it out. Once again, it's been a run here. Losing to Cleveland, losing to Milwaukee, losing to Miami. Obviously losing to Golden State last year. The dues have been paid. This is year 7 for Jalen. This is year 6 for
You're
JT.
7 for Jalen. Wow.
Yeah, so I think that it's um and if you're a number person, 7 is the year of completion.
Seven's the year, bro.
7 is the year of completion. It's time to get the job done. See you in June.
I love it. Fucking love it. Because I couldn't be more with you, man. When so I'm in 2 camps where it's like, if things go the way the Celtics should play basketball, the only team that can beat them is the Bucks. That's the only team, in my opinion, that in a 7-game series can hang with this squad when they're playing the best basketball that they can play. So if they play that brand of basketball that
Yeah.
that we know and love, those drive kicks when they're flowing, when that ball is going across the 3-point line, when when Marcus is drawing charges and Rob's blocking the shots at the like, when we see all these things coming to fruition that we know makes this team spin and be the Celtics that we love, I don't think there's a team in this NBA that can beat them. I really
Yeah.
don't.
Oh, right. No, that's fair. And I want to go a step further 'cause I've said it before. I said it. I think I said it right after we did the show last year. I've said it throughout the season. And I'll say it again since we made that prediction. I want to be clear, and like I said, Craig, you can do what you do with this. I want the rematch.
You want it? You want Golden
I
State? You
no,
want them?
I said all year this was a 2014 Spurs redemption team. It's not a redemption if you don't face Golden State. Once again, it's cool.
Okay.
It's cool to face other teams and end up winning. Obviously, you won the championship. I want to beat them to win the championship.
I
And
think
I've
we beat them in 5 this year if
Yeah,
we
just
play
like
'em.
how San
I think
Antonio
we
beat
beat 'em
Miami
easy.
fine.
Yeah,
Like, just wipe them off the floor.
yeah.
I just to me, you know, 'cause once again, we were better last year, but mentally they had the edge. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. Um, this year it's like, okay, let's see. And once again, I want to be on the floor. Once again, for that story I told you, but what Draymond said, what he said to me, I want to be there. I need this to happen. That we're back on stage with them, with the confetti falling, and JT is saying St. Louis, this is for you. He's not gonna say Boston, he ain't from. He gonna say St. Louis, this is for you. and and we're holding up the trophy. Is the trophy in one hand, Deuce is here, and I'm texting y'all in the group chat saying ball game banner 18.
And I'm saying, "I told you,
Right. Championship
championship
DNA.
DNA, bro,
Championship DNA, baby. So
I felt
that's
it."
Belton. That's how we're gonna end it. So with Real BK, Bob Kelly, I'm Hollywood Rich Sean Buchanan. Until next time, we'll see you. Peace.